The difference between love and compatibility, what nobody tells you. Welcome to this new video, where we're going to talk about the difference between love and compatibility, what nobody tells you. Why do some couples who love each other deeply live fighting all the time? Why do others who seem perfect on paper end up feeling empty after years together? Here's the truth nobody tells you until it's too late. 73% of couples who get divorced admit they still loved each other when they signed the papers. Let me repeat that. 3 out of 4 people who end their marriages say the love was still there. So what failed? What failed was something we constantly confuse with love, something we believe comes automatically when there are strong feelings, something that determines whether you build a life together or end up exhausted in a daily battle that neither of you will win. It's called compatibility. And here's the problem. You were taught that love conquers all. You were sold the idea that if you truly love each other, you can overcome any difference. Movies, songs, romantic stories, they all repeat the same lie. Love is enough. It's not. In the next 25 minutes, you're going to understand exactly what love is, what compatibility is, why they're not the same thing, and most importantly, how to identify if your current relationship has one, both, or neither. Because that difference literally determines the rest of your life. First, let's talk about love. Not the Disney concept of love. Real love. Love is an emotional force. It's brain chemistry, attraction, desire, deep connection with another person. It's that feeling that fills your chest when you see someone, that makes you think about that person constantly, that drives you to want to be close, to protect, to care. Researchers at Oxford University have studied romantic love using brain MRIs. What they found is fascinating. When you're in love, your brain releases dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. It's literally a drug. It activates the same brain areas as addictions. That's why love feels so powerful. That's why it can consume you completely. Love makes you feel like you found the perfect person. You minimize their flaws, magnify their qualities. Your brain is literally designed to make you see the best in that person during the falling in love phase. But here's what nobody tells you. That intense love, that initial fire, has an expiration date. Studies from the University of Pavia in Italy show that chemical infatuation lasts between 12 and 18 months. Some lucky ones extend it up to 3 years. And then what? Then comes mature love, real love, the kind that's built with decision, with commitment, with conscious choice every day. But that mature love needs something more to survive. It needs compatibility, because you can love someone deeply and still be absolutely incompatible to build a life together. Compatibility is completely different. It's not an emotion, it's an alignment. It's the ability of 2 people to function together in practical life, to share fundamental values, to have similar visions of the future, to complement each other instead of constantly clashing. Think of it this way. Love is the gasoline in the car. Compatibility is the engine, the wheels, the transmission system. You can have all the fuel in the world, but if the engine doesn't work, you're not going anywhere. Compatibility manifests in very specific and concrete areas. First, fundamental values. What's really important to each person? Family, professional success, personal freedom, financial stability, spiritual growth. It's not about having exactly the same values, but the core values must align. If family comes first for you and work always has priority for your partner, there's fundamental incompatibility. Second, Future vision. Do you want children or not? How many? When? Where do you want to live? Big city or small town? Do you prioritize stability or adventure? Do you want to build wealth or live experiences? A study from the University of Denver on married couples found that discrepancies in future vision are the #1 predictor of divorce, even more than communication problems. Third, lifestyle. Are you someone who stays home or goes out constantly? Do you prefer routine or spontaneity? Do you like intense social life or do you value couple intimacy more? Fourth, communication and conflict management. How do you process emotions? Do you talk immediately when something bothers you, or do you need space? Do you yell when you get angry, or do you shut down? Do you solve problems by talking or avoiding? Fifth, relationship with money. Are you a saver or spender? Conservative or risky with investments? Does money give you security or freedom? Do you prefer experiences or possessions? Researchers at Kansas State University found that fights about money are the main predictor of divorce, more than any other conflict topic. Sixth, level of ambition and growth mindset. Are you constantly seeking to improve, or are you comfortable where you are? Do you value continuous education? Do you take calculated risks or prefer security? If one wants to build empires and the other wants a quiet life without complications, that friction never disappears. Now, the million-dollar question: why do we confuse love with compatibility? There are several deep psychological reasons. Reason 1. Love literally blinds us. During infatuation, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for critical judgment, has lower activity. It's as if your brain intentionally turns off your ability to see flaws or incompatibilities. Evolution designed us this way so we reproduce, not so we build lasting and functional relationships. That's a more recent social invention. Reason 2. We confuse intensity with quality. A relationship with lots of passion, lots of drama, intense emotions, feels more real than a stable and compatible relationship. Our brain interprets intensity as true love. But here's the trap. Constant emotional intensity is often a sign of incompatibility, not deep love. The most compatible couples have less drama because they're not constantly fighting against fundamental differences. Reason 3. We believe love conquers all. We've been sold the idea that if you truly love each other, you can overcome any difference. Love conquers all, they say. Lie. Love can help you work on superficial differences. It can't change fundamental values, opposite life visions, or deep personality incompatibilities. If someone wants 3 children and you don't want any, love doesn't solve that. If someone needs to live in the city and you need the countryside, love doesn't solve that. If someone spends everything and you save everything, love doesn't solve that. Reason 4. We don't know what to ask. When you're in love, you talk about feelings, about how special the connection is, about how good you feel together. You rarely ask the hard questions about compatibility until you're already deeply involved. Do you talk about finances in the first months? Almost never. Do you talk about raising children before getting engaged? Some do, many don't. Do you talk about how you handle anger before living together? Rarely. And when these conversations finally come up, there's already emotional investment. There's already fear of losing the person. There's already social pressure or plans made. Reason 5. We project what we want to see. We assume that because you love each other, you must want the same things. Or we assume the other person will change over time to align with us. A study from the University of Texas followed couples for 10 years. They found that 80% of people who entered relationships expecting their partner to change in fundamental aspects ended up divorced or chronically unhappy. People don't change core values, don't change life vision, don't change fundamental personality. They can modify specific behaviors if they really want to, but expecting deep transformation is fantasy. Now let's get practical. There are 4 possible combinations between love and compatibility, and each one produces a completely different type of relationship. Combination 1. High love plus high compatibility. This is the jackpot, the ideal relationship everyone is looking for. You feel deep emotional connection, and you're also aligned in values, future vision, lifestyle. You push each other forward, conflicts are manageable because you share the same communication tools. You build toward the same direction. These are the couples you see after 30 years, and they still have spark, but they also have stability. It's not that they don't have problems, it's that they have the foundation to solve them. What's the risk here? Becoming complacent, taking what you have for granted, stopping investing in the relationship because it works on its own. But even the best compatibility needs active maintenance of love. Combination 2. High love plus low compatibility. This is the most dangerous relationship because it feels incredible at first and becomes torment later. There's intense chemistry, powerful attraction, deep emotional connection. But in the practical areas of life, you're opposites. One wants children, the other doesn't. One is extremely social, the other needs solitude. One spends, the other saves. One is ambitious, the other is conformist. One avoids conflicts, the other needs to talk everything through immediately. What happens here? You live on a constant emotional roller coaster. You fight intensely because you're clashing against real incompatibilities. Then you reconcile passionately because the love is still there. Then you fight again for the same fundamental reasons. Researchers at the University of California studied this pattern and called it the conflict reconciliation cycle. It's addictive because the emotional peaks of reconciliation release dopamine, creating chemical dependence similar to drugs. But here's the brutal truth. These relationships are exhausting. Eventually, love alone isn't enough to compensate for daily friction. Passion turns into resentment. Intensity turns into exhaustion. They can last years, even decades, but they're rarely happy. They're dramatic, yes. Intense, absolutely. Functional? No. Combination 3. Low love plus high compatibility. This is the practical relationship, the modern marriage of convenience. You share values, want the same things, function well, together in daily life. But there's no spark, no passion, no deep connection that makes you miss someone when they're not there. You're effective life partners, but not passionate lovers. Can this work? It depends on what you value more. Some cultures prioritize compatibility over romantic love and have much lower divorce rates. India, for example, has arranged marriages based on family, economic, and value compatibility, and studies show similar satisfaction levels to love marriages in the West. The risk here is feeling like you're missing something, that life passes without the emotional intensity you wanted, that you're with a glorified roommate instead of a lover. Some of these relationships develop deep love over time. Others remain functional but cold. Combination 4. Low love plus low compatibility. Why are you there? Seriously, why continue? There's no significant emotional connection, and there's also no practical alignment. This is pure toxicity, or simply two people who have no business being together. The reasons someone stays here are typically fear of loneliness, economic dependence, children, social pressure, low self-esteem, or simply inertia. If you're here, leaving is the only healthy option. All right, now the personal question. Which of these four combinations are you in? Let's do an exercise in brutal honesty. Not to judge your relationship, but to have real clarity on where you stand. Love evaluation. Ask yourself this. Do you feel genuine joy when you see your partner? Do you miss their presence when you're apart? Is there genuine physical attraction, not just sexual obligation? Do you admire fundamental aspects of who that person is? Do you feel seen, valued, appreciated for who you really are? Is there emotional intimacy, where you can be vulnerable without fear? If you answered no to most of these, the love isn't there, and it's okay to recognize that. Maybe it never was, or maybe it wore out. But clarity is power. Compatibility. Evaluation. Now the hard questions. Fundamental values. Do you both agree on whether you want to have children? How many? When? Do you share the same vision about the role of extended family in your lives? Do you both have the same stance on religion or spirituality, or at least mutual respect? Finances. Are you aligned on how to spend, save, invest? Do you both have similar tolerance for financial risk? Can you talk about money without fighting? Communication. Do you fight fair, or do you attack each other personally? Can you resolve conflicts without one person always giving in? Do you both feel heard when there's a problem? Lifestyle. Do you agree on the level of social life you want? Do you agree on where and how you want to live? Do you have compatible life rhythms? One early bird, one night owl can be a real problem. Ambition and growth. Do you both want to evolve, or does one want total stability? Do you genuinely support each other's dreams and goals? Does one person's success threaten the other, or do you celebrate it? Personal time and space. Do you respect the need for individual space? Do you agree on how much time together you need? Sexuality. Do you have compatible libidos? Are you comfortable talking about sexual needs? Do you feel sexually satisfied most of the time? If you answered no to more than half of these areas, compatibility is low. And that means you're rowing against the current constantly. Now that you have clarity, what do you do with it? Scenario 1. You have high love and high compatibility. Congratulations, but don't fall asleep. These are the relationships that are lost through neglect. Action. Actively invest in maintaining both things. Regular dates to keep love alive. Periodic conversations about goals and vision to keep compatibility aligned as you evolve. Never take what you have for granted. All relationships require active maintenance. Scenario 2. High love, low compatibility. This is the most painful because love is there, but you're fighting daily battles against real incompatibilities. First, identify which incompatibilities are negotiable and which aren't. Negotiable. Where exactly to live within a city, frequency of social life, distribution of household tasks. Non-negotiable. Having children or not, fundamental moral values, level of professional ambition, money management, spending versus saving. If the incompatibilities are negotiable, they can be worked on with communication, real compromise, not surrender by one party, and possibly couples therapy. If the incompatibilities are non-negotiable, you have to make the hardest decision. Can you live with this? Not tolerate it, genuinely live happily with it. Because here's the truth. Nobody wants to hear. Loving someone doesn't mean you should be with that person. Sometimes the greatest love is recognizing you're not compatible to build a life together and letting go with respect. Scenario 3. Low love, high compatibility. Crucial question. Can love develop or be rekindled? If compatibility is high, it's worth trying. Many times love went out through neglect, routine, lack of effort, external stress. Action. Intentionally invest in reconnecting emotionally. Couples therapy can be extremely effective here. Consistent dates, vulnerable communication, maybe even a change of environment. But put a time limit. 6 months of real effort. If after that time love doesn't return, then you have your answer. Living your whole life in a functional but loveless relationship is giving up a fundamental part of the human experience. Scenario 4. Low love, low compatibility. Leave today, not tomorrow, not after the holidays, not when it's a better time. There's no good time to end something that doesn't work. You're just postponing the inevitable and wasting time you both could use to find relationships that actually work. Here's the secret nobody tells you when you're young. The ideal relationship isn't found, it's built. Love can arise spontaneously, yes, but compatibility is evaluated consciously and cultivated intentionally. When you meet someone new, don't just ask yourself, do I feel love? Also ask yourself, are we compatible in the areas that really matter? Ask the hard questions early, not after 2 years when there's already massive emotional investment. Talk about children in the first months, not after getting engaged. Talk about money, ambitions, values, fears, future vision. And here's the most important thing. Don't try to force compatibility where it doesn't exist, hoping that love will be enough. And don't settle for compatibility without love, hoping that love will eventually come. Both things are necessary. Love without compatibility is passion destined for suffering. Compatibility without love is function without soul. Seek both. You deserve both. And there are people out there who can give you both things. The question is, do you have the clarity to recognize it when you see it? And more importantly, do you have the courage to let go of what doesn't work to make space for what can work? Because at the end of the day, building a life with someone is the biggest project you're going to undertake. And like any big project, you need the right ingredients from the start. Love gives you the motivation. Compatibility gives you the tools. Both together give you the real possibility of building something extraordinary that lasts a lifetime. If this content made you reflect on your own relationship, take the time to do the evaluation exercise honestly. Clarity is the first step toward any significant change. And remember, recognizing the truth of your situation isn't pessimistic, it's powerful. Because only from truth can you make conscious decisions about your future.